Good morning, Scouts. Hi, I'm Erica from Scout Digital. This is about my third or fourth scope, I think, in this series, where I'm just sharing some tips from previous blog posts that I have written. So if you'd like to read the full blog post, you can see it on my website. The link is in my bio and I'll share it with you at the end. I just have to warn you, I am quite tired today. I've been up since about 4:45 working on a really big client announcement campaign, which is going really well so far, so that's nice. I am on about my fourth cup of coffee in five or 6 hours. So yeah, starting to get a little bit delirious. Thank you for joining. So I'm sharing one of my blog posts that I wrote a couple of months ago, but this is I'll actually refer to it in this scope. It's a very timely, it's very evergreen, not timely. It's an evergreen type content post. So something that I hope you will get value out of, whether or not you're using social media as a business or as an individual. Most of my updates so far have been speaking about social media and digital marketing for business use, but this is one that crosses both that personal use as well as that business use as well. So the post itself was actually called How to Be a Valuable Voice. Thank you. Being a valuable voice, not an annoying echo. And it was kind of written in response to, I was getting a little bit frustrated with lots of hearts there, a little bit frustrated with some people who just share content without actually giving any indication as to why they are sharing it or why we should actually read it. And I think that's really important, particularly from a business perspective, but very useful as an individual to provide value and make a valuable contribution to the online conversation rather than just contributing more and more content. So the post talks about a couple of my favourite principles, which I think of with content marketing. And one of them is called the Pareto principle, which you may have heard of, and it's used in lots of different scenarios. But I love it in regards to content marketing because that idea of that 1-to-4 ratio works really well in regards to content. And again, this is good if you are an individual and use social media a lot for self-promotion, or as businesses, I'll admit, businesses and companies, we use social media for marketing and to try and generate more business. It's not all about just contributing and making a valuable contribution to the online conversation. So we do actually want to try and get business out of this, but you need to be really delicate with how you use it. It's not a purely 100% advertising space. You can buy advertising space, but from an organic use, you're not. So that 1-to-4 ratio, the Pareto principle, works really well with that idea of for every one salesy type update that you share, try and balance it with 4 updates about anything else that is not sales. It can still be related to your products and services. It can be related to your industry, but don't make them overt sales messages. It could be a useful resource. It could be some news, industry news. There's all sorts of other things you can do, case studies and bits and pieces besides obvious sales updates. So keep that in mind with your content marketing. Another quick tip for content marketing is thinking of content in a few different types of ways. And there's 4 main areas that I consider content, and they balance. They're like 2 pairs that balance, very yin and yang type approach. So the first 2 are collated content and created content. So collated content is content that you collect from other sources. You did not create it originally, but you're collating it from other sources and you're sharing it onto your network. So it could be from local or industry news or blogs or basically other people's content. Important thing to keep in mind with this is to reference where it comes from and not try and pass it off as your own. And depending on what kind of content it is, make sure you actually have permission to use it, particularly when it comes to images. So referencing where it comes from. So collating and sharing other people's content. The other type is created content. So you're actually creating your own unique original content and sharing that. And it is one of my favourite types of content, but it is also really, really hard, particularly when you're trying to run a business and do all the other things in your life as well. It is really hard to try and create new original content all the time, but if you can create some valuable new content and share that with your network and with the internet, it's incredibly valuable, so I encourage you to do that. So you've got collated content and created content, that's that first pair. The second pair, which also overlap with this, and I mentioned it earlier, timely content and evergreen content. So timely content is very time specific and time sensitive, normally related to news, current affairs. Also can work if you're trying to leverage a current trend. Thinking of Pokemon Go or something at the moment. If you do it in a couple of months' time, it's probably going to be really, really old news. But if you jump on it really quickly, or even like 2 weeks ago, it's probably a little bit old now. You can jump on something really timely. The other one is evergreen content, and that's something that's, like I mentioned with this particular blog post that I'm referring to, it's information that is relevant at any time of year. It's really great content. You can prepare it in advance usually. It doesn't matter exactly when you share it. You can share it multiple times throughout the year, and it should continue to provide value. And with each of those, your evergreen content and your timely content could be created or collated. So you've got those pairs there to work with. Like I said, I really, really love creating your own unique content, but it is really, really hard. And that reminds me of another one of my favourite principles, which is called the 1% rule. And I've referred to a few articles in my post because it has been claimed recently that the 1% rule is dead, just because we are so accustomed now to internet use and sharing content. But it also depends how you look at it in different types of industries as well. So there's some more links there if you want to read it in more detail. But otherwise, the 1% rule, I'll just flick this around. I've got a little diagram I can show you. Okay, you can see that there. So the 1% rule, it basically shows that 1% of people who use the internet tend to create content. So there's this tiny little sliver of people, I've done that out of proportion there, but tiny sliver of people who actually create new original content. You've got 9% of internet users who contribute to that original content and share it on with their networks. And there's a 90% of those internet users just consume content. They're also referred to as lurkers, but they basically consume content rather than creating or contributing and sharing. And to be honest, there we go. To be honest, that the exact proportions can vary, and they are going to vary by industry and by community, but you get the basic idea. So you've got a smaller amount of people who are creating new content, a larger amount of people who are contributing and adding to that content or sharing it with their networks, and a larger amount of people who actually just consume the content, which is absolutely fine as well. You don't have to be, as an individual, businesses are different, but as an individual, you can just use the internet and social media to consume content. You don't have to contribute your own to it. So that's really important to think about. And this is where I wanted to mention, like I said, if that valuable voice and contributing to the conversation is sharing other people's content with your network is a great way of showing endorsement for it and providing valuable information and helping to keep that information moving throughout the internet. Hi, Christy. Yeah, so sharing other people's content. But what I would really urge you to do if you are sharing other people's content, good morning. If you are sharing other people's content, is to try and add your own little twist to it rather than just sharing the link. I see this a lot on LinkedIn, and it is, I'll admit, it's really easy to do with sharing tools. It's really easy to just share the link and it automatically shares the headline, it automatically shares the description. But this is an opportunity for you, particularly if you aren't confident or don't have time to create your own original content. You can still share your own original perspective on somebody else's article. And we're all really busy. Our news feeds are really full with so much information. So give people a reason for why they should take that time to read that article or that piece that you have taken the time to share with them. So add that little bit extra. Otherwise, if everybody is just clicking, sharing, retweeting without contributing anything else, it generates this kind of annoying echo, and that's the example I've given in this blog post. You can get this annoying echo that just spins around, and you've got, there are different types of echoes, and it can be really valuable. Like you can have echoes out in the plains and in particularly areas that have lots of mountains and rocks, and they help carry an important message further, and that's a good type of echo. But then you've got really annoying echoes that, like when you're trying to make a Skype call or on your phone sometimes, that just kind of reverberate in your ear and really annoy you. So if you are sharing content, hopefully that makes sense to some people, because that analogy really did make sense to me. But yeah, if you are looking to share content and share other people's content, do try and add that little extra value and extra perspective so that your echo stands out and is actually a valuable contribution to the social media landscape. So I'll just quickly flip this around and show those points again. It's got the link. Okay, so like I said, there's the link to my website in my profile, but it's also up there, scoutdm.com.au. This is a slightly older post, but it is on the first page of the archives. It's called Be a Valuable Voice, Not an Annoying Echo. And yeah, I talked about the Pareto principle, the 1% rule, those ideas of collated and created content and evergreen content and timely content. And yeah, the big thing for me is when you are sharing other people's content, try and add value to it. So thank you this morning as I kind of get into that delirious stage. I'll be looking to do another one of these scopes, if not later on in the week, then this time next week as well. So hopefully you can join me again, or if you do watch this on the replay, please enjoy it. I think I need another coffee already. Thanks very much and have a great day, everybody. Bye.